Hi, you guys. This is Ginger Cook. Tonight in acrylic paint, we're going to show you romantic impressionism of a flower market, inspired from a trip John and I took to the Baltic last spring. This was in Estonia, and there was this flower market that stayed open 24 hours a day, and we took a lot of pictures, and these are some. This was based on a photo I took, and I'm really excited to show you how we're going to paint it. See you in a second.
And the star of our...
Hello?
Oh, wait, Sammy, stop.
What happened?
Ginger Cook,
Oh,
as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylic.
Okay, we're back on top with you.
Oh, we're back on top with me. Okay.
You know, I just love live.
We never get the opening right. I mean, we've been doing this for like 3-4 years now.
I did. You know, I ran him through a couple times, so he was loaded up, ready to go, and he'd sit there and he paused.
I don't know what to tell you. It's just we do our best, you guys. But you know, that's the fun of live shows. That anything can be said or happen, right? If it gets really bad, we just take it down, and you know, it's just between you and us, right?
Oh my! All right, you want me to shoot down to the table now?
Sure.
All right.
Okay, so as you can
Here we
see, this beautiful color. Look at these beautiful greens and blues and gorgeous complementary colors. This is what I consider, you know, just. It brings some real emotion into the picture, kind of happy. These are like happy colors, kind of a kaleidoscope of happy colors. And so to stop right now, if you're saying, oh my gosh, this looks so difficult, Ginger, I will never get this drawn on. Look at that. Well, I want to show you, we're offering something very new in our beginner acrylic artist.com, okay? And that is your basic supporter membership for that, which is $4.95 a month. We have the different traceables for this that you can, you know, print out. Here's another one right here. We have 4 different ones that just make it very simple for you. Here's a black and white of the picture, and then we also show you our original photo. So that all comes, that's all included with your membership, and when you join, you get everything back to January. And just keep on going. So that's a basic supporter. And why would you want to do that? Well, you might want just the original photograph, might want to paint this differently. But the other thing is, if you love us and want to support us, we appreciate it. We don't put these on for free, so anytime you support us, we thank you very much. And our Academy members, our senior and junior Academy members, get that for free. That's part of your Academy membership, but you must sign up on the Beginner Acrylic website first to get it. But if you're already an Academy member, that's complimentary. Okay, that being said, this is an 8x10 canvas. I just went ahead, this is so easy, I went ahead and just sketched this on, these little flower pot shapes, and kind of just have an idea of what I'm doing here. And I'm going to just put out these colors. Now, one thing I did use in this particular painting was phthalo green. Now that is something we normally don't use, but I usually use it in our Wave and Water Masterclass. But phthalo green is really pretty for this because it's sort of a bright, in-your-face green. I'm going to put a couple of squirts of that out. This is my Holbein paint. They do not pay me to tell you what it is. I'm just sharing that with you. It's got a little bit stronger pigment than your normal paints. It's made in Japan. It's really neat stuff, gotta say. And we're going to do a Cad Red Light. And besides the Cad Red Medium, we're going to do some other colors. And of course, your we've got some colors that I think might be. We want a lot of colors in this. We're doing this was Acrylic yellow, and I really like this. It's a very bright, kind of almost Indian yellow. If you had Indian yellow, it would be very similar. It's not called that. It's called Indian yellow. Yeah, well, there you go. It is. Wow. I thought it looked like an Indian yellow, but who knows, right? By the time they put all the labels in, it's like 6 languages, you're looking for the English going, I don't know, it's called something. But anyway, that's sort of nice. And then we've got a luminous yellow from Holbein, which is a kind of our accent color. We just put that in a couple places. If you don't have it, no stress. I just like, you know me, I like bright colors. So tonight what we're going to be showing, besides how to paint all this stuff, we're going to have a giveaway. You know, so hang in there with us. We're going to answer some really interesting questions that have come up during the week, and also your questions. If you're joining us live in the live chat, just put them in capital letters. John, let's give a shout out to our moderators while I put out the paint.
That'd be hello to Lady Liz, Luann, Wendy. I saw Judy who wanted to know if we were live. Yes, Judy, we're live. And Steffi.
Hi, Steffi.
Looks like everybody. Who are we missing? Oh, Tonya.
Tonya. And Mona, of course, she's in
Mona,
Sweden,
well,
so she's in Sweden, so you can't, you
Sweden.
guys, you got to cut her a little slack, right?
Yep, give her some
Because
slack.
she's in Sweden. Here's a little bit of
How do we make Indian yellow?
Yellow's a primary color, friends. So can't really
Gonna
make
be a
it.
tough one.
You
Got to
can
get all
add
the
a little
chemicals.
tiny bit of yellow oxide, maybe to yellow, and get something close. It won't be as bright. That's the problem with primary colors. When you buy reds, you buy reds or red, yellow, and blue. Your primary colors. That means you can't really make them, but you can get sort of softened versions of them. But your brightest colors will always be right out of the tube. All right. That's your brightest colors. And if you're a big person, if you're one of those people that really likes flowers, okay, so here's some red, cad red. This is not cad red, this is naphtha crimson. As soon as I can open it here.
Well, one would put their cap back on.
Well, yeah, one would think that would be the thing, wouldn't it? That's one of the things, it's come up. What is the difference between, say, a jar of paint? Because, I mean, if you do the math, you can get, it's much cheaper to buy a jar of paint than it is in a tube, yeah? It just bulk anytime you buy anything. But the problem is, if you have a jar of something and you put a dirty something in it, you've ruined the whole jar. Or if you leave the lid off, the whole thing is dried like cement. But if you leave the lid off, a cap, it kind of dries around the throat. You haven't necessarily lost the whole tube. So there just depends on. And then for a jar, you need lots of different little different spoons to get the paint out. And I find that you end up taking more paint out than you normally intend, too. That's the other thing. I guess it depends on, this is a sock folder thing. Sock folders probably do very well with the jars. If somebody dropped a cookie on your kitchen floor and you could still lick the floor and the cookie and not die, then maybe jars might be a good way to save. What do you think? Just suggesting.
Hey, love your hair, Ginger. It's gorgeous tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, wait, we just had a donation come in through the PayPal system from Phyllis. Thanks,
thank you.
Ginger and John. Any wedding news? Yeah, it's still on.
Still on. Wedding's still on. We're getting, it's the 28th of May on a cruise ship, and I think we have a lot of our YouTube watchers and Academy members are coming, which we think is kind of neat. We just, sharing the experience and think they're coming. I think that's kind of nice. It's a 4-day cruise. I don't think we have any more room on the cruise, do we, John?
I'm not sure. They'd have to check.
We'd have to check. Sometimes things happen and people, for whatever, life happens to people, and people signed up for this cruise like a year ago. We had room for 40, so we might be able to squeeze a couple more in. We'll have to ask. We're limited to how many people can come to our wedding. That's our big
Picture's
thing.
a little blurry tonight. Not blurry on my end. Anybody else having blurriness? We got a perfect feed going out, and I'm sharp as a tack, and I'm running at HD.
Yeah, so it could
I'm
be
watching
just.
at 1080p.
Yeah, it could be just you.
Check your resolution, lower right corner. John, will you be painting again on the show? Maybe. I might do my own show. What do you think?
Sure.
Oh.
We have time for that.
Yeah, I got time for that.
We barely
right?
have time for anything. Here's a little cad red medium.
I hope
And
you're painting.
that was the cad red light. I don't really see the difference in the Holbein from that and that, but interesting. But we'll compare.
How do I engage in the cruise? Well, I'm not sure about the question, but if you want to know more about the cruise, use the contact us on one of our many websites, and we'll send you the details.
Okay.
That is May. What day do we
Well,
leave on that?
the actual wedding is on the 28th.
Yeah, I think it's the 25th
That's the
of
last
May
day
it
of the cruise.
leaves.
It was like back it up 4 days.
Right in there.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, the blues. Let's get some blues out.
I hope you'll be painting again, yes. Right now I get to do backgrounds. And one of my backgrounds may end up on an auction because it came out so nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a good background, for sure. And also, look for an auction coming up from us soon. We're going to do our spring auction for original artwork. Some of your favorite paintings may show up for auction from my original work, and you might enjoy that, I'm thinking. What was that? That was ultramarine blue.
I was going to say it looked like ultramarine blue. Do you have
So then
phthalo blue?
this is phthalo blue right here. And I'm just really tired of. I was using the Liquitex, and it's not as bright. I don't like it as well. For me personally, it's not as bright. So I've got to open this tube here, and I'm just going to get out the colors I want.
Yeah, Art says it's the 25th. Thank you, Art.
Thank
Hey,
you,
thanks
Art,
for showing
coming.
up, Art. Good to have you here.
And now we're just coming. So now, for those of you who showed up late, if you're looking for a traceable for this or for a reference photo, when Jon and I went to Estonia on this cruise last spring, Estonia had this flower market. Guys, it's open 24 hours a day. Can you imagine? And it goes from, it's a whole block. It's not like just this. It goes down for a whole block, all on the left. And they get, I said, well, Estonia's way up north, you know, it's kind of cold, you know, toward Russia. And I'm going, well, Russia's its neighbor. So I'm going, well, where are they getting the flowers? And they get them from Holland. And they come up the ocean every day. They bring them flowers. So this is just sort of a you know, close-up of, this is what we're painting, okay? And then this is the black and white of my painting, which we call Romantic Impressionism. Here's a backup view of the flower market.
Yeah, see the yellow box.
That's what we painted.
That
right
is
there.
what she painted out of the whole thing.
Out of the whole thing.
Wait, one second.
Sure, you can. Yeah, you can see that. That's what I picked out of the whole thing. This is what I zoomed in on to paint. Okay, out of the whole thing. All right, out of the whole flower market. Just imagine a flower market like this, and it goes forever. I mean, it was so impressive. So then here's the traceable for this.
Now that is the traceable from the photograph.
From the photograph.
And then the other traceable that we have is from Ginger's painting.
Yeah, from Ginger's painting. So this is what, and you can find these if you're a basic supporter on our brand new website called beginner acrylicartist.com.
There you go.
Beginner acrylic art or artist.com or BA, right? You can remember that.
We call it
humbug, BA. You can't remember it. Think of BA, okay? So now we have daintily put out paint. Yes and yes.
Gangly?
Daintily put out the paint.
Gotcha.
And the thing I really loved. Oh yeah, we didn't get the light yellow out, so we almost had the paint out. We were close, right?
We were darn close.
We were so close. How close were we? Yeah, the cad yellow medium. So we'll play around and see if we get. And we need magenta too. That was the other color we forgot.
We forgot?
Well, the imperial wee, darling. The imperial wee.
Absolutely.
So let's see. Where's the magenta?
Under M.
Well, you know, you'd think it would be, wouldn't you? Just magenta would be under M, and I know you got me a brand new tube of the Matisse
Jon,
magenta.
how are you typing fingers doing? Very poorly.
John sliced his finger.
I was trying to show Ginger how to catch a knife.
He dropped the knife. He was cutting something. He dropped the knife.
It's an owie.
And I want my magenta. I know you gave me a brand new tube of it.
I did.
Here, this is the design magenta again, John. I don't know where that magenta went. I just don't know where it went, and it's just gone.
If I walk over there and find it in 2 minutes.
Yeah, please find the magenta. While John's finding the magenta,
Did you get your light yellow?
I got the yellow.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't find the design magenta. Or not the design magenta, just the quadrichrome magenta, not the design. Design is slightly different. And then the other one I wanted was that Holbein. Holbein makes this really bright pink, and that's an awesome color. Again, back to the flowers. I'll grab that in a minute too. Oh, look at you found it. I wasn't looking for the golden one. Okay, here's
That's all I
golden.
had.
That's perfect.
We're out of
there
magenta.
it is. All right,
Use
so
it
there's the
sparingly.
magenta. So if somebody says, well, what's the difference between all of these, right? Do we have a white canvas here? Let me just show you real quick. I think it's important because it's going to come up, right? Here's a little white and magenta. See like that? See how pink it gets? And if I take some more white like that, that's really beautiful and bright, isn't it? So then if you do like red and white, okay, this is red and white. Here's red, and with some white in it, more white, and you can get a pink, but it isn't anywhere near as bright. Do you see that? You're not going to get this sort of.
Now, which red was that?
That was the naphtha crimson.
So that's your primary red.
That's your primary red. And
it's
then,
not as good as magenta.
No, and then here's cad red light. So I'll put on there. That was from Holbein, I think, which looks very similar to. See, again, you get a pink, but it's totally different. Can you guys see the difference in these colors?
Well, I certainly can.
And then here's the other red. Here's this. That's another cad red medium. I think they call it, one of those was, I think these two look very similar, even though one's called light. But if you put the white with it like that, you know, again, you don't get, so if you want a bright pink, you're really talking about magenta. You cannot make that color. Yes and yes?
Yes and yes.
So, I mean, I felt like I should show you that because somebody's going to ask about it. And
Yes, they will. Hey, we'd like to thank Sharon for the donation that came in through the PayPal system. Thank you very much.
thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
We can buy a tube of magenta.
Yeah, we can get down to it. All right. So the what we want to start with first is the floor. All right. So I'm going to I have this, any old light background would do. This is purple, but it really doesn't matter what your background is, just to have it fairly light. Okay. And we're going to start with white and yellow. Make sure this light color right here, just kind of, we're going to do a little mixing on and notice the direction of the brush. Everything's going at an angle, following those lines I put on the canvas. Everything's going out here at an angle. Now I'm going to add a little tiny bit of phthalo green to that. And let's just try that. See how much brighter it is when you put it over lighter color. Let's add a little more yellow on my, ooh, see now what's happening? See, we're actually mixing on the canvas. Yeah, see? Now, as I go further, this was the phthalo blue, so I'm going to add a little bit of phthalo blue just on my brush now. And just a little more white with that. Phthalo blue. Kind of overlap that. So you want all these edges out of focus. And then we're going to go into the blues. I think the colors in this are so pretty. Don't you guys think the colors are so pretty? I was just very enamored with the colors. Here, a little more white with that. And I don't want any red in that blue. Don't get any red in your blue or you're going to change the color. Okay, and I need a little more phthalo green in that blue. There we go. There we go. There, now that sort of that turquoise color, that aqua color, phthalo blue and phthalo green, make a beautiful aqua color. And we'll just keep doing this, just kind of going up this way. A little bit more of these two colors as we get up here, make it a little darker. And boom, bada bing. Ha! It's in there, right?
It's amazing how fast you do that.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, here I got too much, so I'm sort of mopping some up. Then I'll rinse my brush off because I got a little bit too much dark paint and wipe the paint off the brush. Start coming this way with it. And there, I've kind of got it dark. And see how I kind of got rid of it without... it's a little darker up in this corner. But this corner around this pot, and of course we can always add more color later. And then this corner up here is a little darker. Let's take a little more green and blue. Say up between these two pots, it was a little darker up in here, kind of around this pot. Okay, a little bit greener there. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing here. I think I needed a little more light. Acrylics dry darker, remember that? So let's put a little more yellow in this one. Again, you can mix right on the canvas while it's still wet. It works really well. A little bit of phthalo green. That's a little bit more white. There we go. I want this side kind of light, and I want it to gradate over into blue. Okay. There we go.
Hey, we'd like to thank Anne-Marie for their donation that came through YouTube. Thank you very much.
Oh, Anne-Marie, thank you very much. That's very nice. We appreciate it very much. All right, so now I'm just going to maybe pull some of this, something on a couple lines right here. Some of that dark down here like that. Well, it's just that you don't have to do. You can do this later if you want, if you think it's going to mess up your stuff. Here's a little zinc white. I'm going to put that here because I want this just a little bit lighter. There we go. All right, done. All right, so now we've got that done. We're going to do the same thing on the pots, yes? And yes, we're going to do the exact same thing on the pots. We're going to come over here on the right side of the pots. Now this is where you might want to dry. So the question comes up, and you're going to do the same thing, right? But the question comes up, and the question got up because as some people know, we opened a new website up for very beginning artists, but does not come with personal art coaching. But it is about a little over 50 of our videos that we felt both, very basic, like 3 categories: very basic videos on how you've never picked up saw paintbrush in your life, to very beginner tutorial, step by step, just my voice. Someone asked the other day, well, I don't like Jon talking. Are those going to be on all your videos? No, it's just me on the videos talking on any of our websites. It's just me talking to you, okay, and explaining stuff, okay.
It's more like a one-on-one
It's like
coaching.
a one-on-one, okay, and on all the videos. But we picked out, now we have a lot more of the beginner and intermediate tutorials on our main Academy website, okay, but we did feature some of these others, and of course, if you join that website for $16.95 a month, you also have access to all the YouTube materials that we're now really going out our way to make fabulous. Okay, so you've got all those. Okay, but in the main Academy, of course, you get the new art lessons every week. Yeah, and you definitely get those, and then you get you have access to personal art coaching. So the question came up this week.
What is personal art coaching?
What is personal art coaching? What is the difference between an art coach
and your lesson
and an art teacher? Well, if you think about it, when you watch a video, step-by-step instructional video, the art teacher, which would then be me, right, then explains to you how to do the lesson step by step, and that's where the art teaching comes in. The art teacher explains that on a video, yes. And for instance, we know that, for instance, since I was a kid, kids, for instance, in Australia, back, who lived out in the country, could even when I was a kid, they had that available, some sort of TV where the teacher was on television, right? Or the doctor was on television, they do that, right? But but art coaching is a little different. An art coach is almost like your personal mentor. That, it's less of a teacher like grading. People think, well, she's going to grade it and I'm going to fail, and why would I want to show her my stuff anyway? It's hideous. And, people get really funny with the ideas about this stuff, right? But what an art coach does is build you up, not tear you down. In other words, our journey is to help you feel good about painting. I want you to get better, but if you don't get better, that's okay. Certainly explain stuff that you could do that would make the painting better. But we want your painting experience to be really fun and happy. And sometimes you just need somebody else you can show. Sometimes you want me to show the world and brag on you, and I do that. And sometimes you don't want anybody to see it but me. That's okay. But it's whatever it is, it's between you and me. And my job as your coach is to bring the happy back in painting. And the people that we have seen that have dropped out of the Academy, for the most part, have not taken advantage of personal art coaching, or even been part of our Facebook club. Because that's the other thing too, is that if you're painting in an island, in other words, it's just you and your artwork, and you're tucked away inside, and you don't share it with anybody. It's, why go on after a while? Just kind of bored and stop. So
you won't be growing.
You won't be growing as an artist, but not only that, but there's something. Look, we could all watch a concert at home. We have really good sound equipment now. I mean, I can see it, 1,000 years ago, people went down to the
to the multiplex.
Multiplex 1,000 years ago. No, they went down to the multiplex. They went down to the forum, and they listened to a bunch of people playing music or killing each other with gladiators, but everybody hung out because they understood this shared experience, right? But nowadays, we can stay home and watch stuff on TV, but people still want to go sit in that football stadium, even if they could get a better view of it if they sat home on TV. And the reason is that there's something about sharing the experience with others that's psychologically so important. So this is why I encourage everybody to get a painting buddy. I can be your painting buddy, but you need one. And I can be your art coach, but also share the artwork. Join our Facebook club. That's free. Share your artwork with others, or if others are sharing it, be part of their experience and comment. How about that? Wow, that's a good soap. Wasn't that a good soapbox, Jon? So then the other thing is that the art coach, says what an art coach does, okay, which I think is, I think these are the keys, is that basically I have a system where some of you may not know this, but I actually have a program on my computer where I take the painting into the
take
photo
your
of the painting.
Yeah, your
and
painting.
I take the painting of the that you send me, and take my painting, and we compare in black and white, and then we'll take them into a special painting program, and I will then illustrate the changes you make if I don't think my explanation is you're going to get it well enough. So I mean, this is so rare. Get anybody to come do that for you is extraordinary. And besides, if I sat in your studio and picked up your papers and said, "Here, let me fix it," you'd go, "Wait, my brush, don't touch it, right? But I can do that for you, and we have found that it speeds up the painting process. Extraordinary, isn't it something? Absolutely speeds it up. Just it's so interesting to me. We're changing colors to a little phthalo blue now, in case anybody's wondering. We're going to do a little phthalo blue.
Hey, we would
over
like
here.
to thank Nancy for the donation that came in through PayPal.
Oh, thank you very much, Nancy. We appreciate it very much. So, John, why do we keep mentioning the difference between PayPal and YouTube when somebody donates?
Well, I think that's an excellent question, Ginger. YouTube, in all their wisdom and wiseness, takes 30% of what you donate, and PayPal takes 3%.
Yeah, just a processing charge. Okay, so you guys, you see where now see, I have a little stripe here. You see that? I don't want that, so I'm going to take the back of my brush, just back and forth, and kind of scribble out the.
Now, is that a wet brush, dry brush?
It's damp and wiped
Damp?
off.
Okay.
And I'm just taking the back of the brush and kind of wiping it off, and then you've got these pretty colors, yeah.
They're great colors.
All right, so that's kind of pretty, isn't it?
I think it's done.
So, all right, so we've got that. Now we get to fill in the flowers. You guys thought this was going to be hard, didn't you? And I have an exciting thing for you, too. We've got something really exciting to show you tonight. Where are those silly paints? Where are those
Things are
paints?
to your left.
My left. That would
Behind
be...
your left. Because I can see them in the camera.
Can you?
Keep going around.
Oh, these ones. I'm feeling around like Braille.
If you had closed some of your drawers like that fancy cabinet thing.
Oh, yeah, close the drawers. Good thought, Baba Louie. Where are they? Oh, over here?
Is that what you're looking for?
I was looking for the paints.
What are you going to do?
I just was going to show them we were going to try the paints out at the end of the show. Those paints.
Oh, that's the new paint.
The new paint. See,
Oh,
they
that's
work
over
back
to
there.
your right then.
Oh, my right. On my
you
other
reach
right.
those?
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Can you get them?
Yeah, I think so. I just have frozen shoulder here this week, so all right.
Are you whiny?
Yeah. So, all right. So somebody asked us about these paints. This lady sent us these paints. They're called Salvidor 24 Professional Premium Acrylic Paint. Don't know anything about them. We've
Never tried them.
Never tried them. We thought at the end of the show we would do a little 10-minute painting with these. See what they did. What do you guys think? Shall we do that? And because they were very reasonable, weren't they? What were they?
You can get it for under $20. You're getting 24 colors. They're little baby tubes though, but you're getting 10 brushes, palette, and a sponge and a palette knife.
Yeah, I'd make
We'll
that.
open that up here. We'll open that
we
up
don't know.
here.
We're going to do that later at the end of the show. But I just wanted to share that with you. This is something that's coming up. Well, what are we giving away to, John? Can you tell them that while I dry?
What am I doing?
Telling them what we're giving away tonight.
Oh, okay. Let me.
While I dry, yeah.
Okay, hold on a second.
He's drying. Oh, and we know that some of my dryer does come through. We're in a room where his microphone is going to pick up this dryer.
We're right together, but
so he can't silence me completely.
See, I'm going to start her off with it drying. So listen to that for a couple of seconds, and then I'll turn her off.
Okay.
Go. Okay, that was her dryer before I turned my mic on. My mic would still pick her up. Nothing we can do about that. We're in the same room, basically 10, 15 feet apart. What we're going to be giving away tonight will be the 10-minute painting, or whatever it ends up being, the painting she does with that new paint. We'll give that away, and we'll also give some memberships away to the beginner acrylic artist website.
Got my back on? Turn
Yeah.
it back on?
3%, PayPal takes 3%, YouTube takes 30% on donations, just so you know in the future.
Yeah, okay, so here we've got this pretty background. Yeah, so here, can you see kind of where we are? We did pretty good, right? It's like almost like
Yeah,
cloning.
you really did.
Kind of like these pots. My pots are a little straighter in this one than they were in the first one, but that's okay. You know, live and learn. So, all right, so what we're dealing with is warm and cool colors. A warm color would be like yellow and orange and red. Cool colors would like be blues and greens and that so. Well, and if you're talking about opposite on the color wheel, if you just try to do it all wet, you're going to end up with just brown flowers. You know,
So there's a lot of drying.
there's a lot of drying and stuff like this, only because you just have to sort of paint certain things. So first thing we're going to do is we want some bright yellow ones. So I know that there's going to be some bright yellow flowers, so I'm just going to take some white and put, you know, just try to do that, because yellow paints the happiest over white.
And we like have happy yellow.
Yeah, so I'm just going to just sort of plop in a few little white flowers that I think will be yellow. If they're not yellow, they'll be something else, right? But I'm just going to tap in some flowers here. You see, they're all going to be kind of with this little 3/8 inch brush stroke is what they are. So just at this point, I'm just not putting in all the flowers this color, but I am popping in some like this. And just sort of dotting them on, sort of fun. Do you have that one flower thing? Did you find that one sheet of flowers, the one with the all the flowers?
Yeah.
Did this one? For
There's a
those
whole-
of you, not this one, for those,
going.
this one here. For those of you who want to know how to paint these kind of flowers,
Look at that. That
was
to me is one of my favorite ones.
Our most popular videos on YouTube. This one, and this really is a great example of how to paint flowers. What I would call a little tighter than this, right? But still very impressionistic. This is a way cool tutorial. That's on YouTube, and also
It has a great little background too.
and this is a great little. And this is another one we have. This is another YouTube one we have with flowers. And I can't remember if this was on YouTube or not.
I couldn't remember that one.
We can't remember where this came from, but it's kind of the same idea, yeah? So had to show you those. All right, so we're just going to keep going. So I can answer some questions and chat a bit with anybody's talking, wants to know some stuff, John.
Let me take a gander. Looking it over.
If nothing,
Go ahead. I guess the ladies have put the YouTube or the questionnaire link out.
Okay, that's so great. We really are curious about our format for the show. We've had some people.
You'll see that's some of the questions we're asking, and we really want honest opinions, guys.
Yeah, just tell us. You're not going to feel it. You know, because there's a lot of other artists on YouTube that get thousands of views, and I think we put out one of the best products out there, and they say nothing. They don't talk to you. They just paint, and they're just going to move along, and they're just quiet. Nice paintings, but sometimes they do a speed painting, sometimes they put music, and then we can do that. I mean, trust me, we can switch this over in a New York minute kind of thing. But, you know, on the other hand, we want to be conscious of the fact of what you want. We appreciate the fact you've been hanging with us all this time. If you want to help us, one of the things YouTube looks at is how many of these videos you've shared. If you put them in a playlist and have shared them with somebody else, that matters, because what happens is we get the same people watching our stuff. We need some new people. To grow our channel, we need some new people to see it. And they're not going to see it.
We don't love the ones that are
here. We love
you
guys, but we need some new people to see it. And the thing is, YouTube, you know how when you look at my video and you're painting, they give you on the right-hand side suggested videos you might like. We don't come up enough. And that's the only way people discover us. There's thousands of videos going up on YouTube every day. A lot of people, you know, say, I just found you. We've been up here for a while doing some great stuff. So they find us either through our Facebook club. Sometimes my daughter Cinnamon mentions us on her show, The Art Sherpa. She'll mention her mom, and people come over to see who the mom is of the Art Sherpa, what she's, you know, doing.
Hey, we got a new question from a new person.
Yeah.
Donna's asking, how come your canvas is purple? I'm new to painting.
Oh, I just needed a light color. It could have been yellow, could have been anything, just some sort of light color.
Okay, back it up. She wants to understand why you even have a color on there instead of painting directly on the canvas like most artists do.
Oh, you need a canvas, because here's the thing. That's a great question, Donna. Here's what you want to know. Is if you think let me just back it up. If you took two paintings, acrylic paintings, here's like one of the paintings we teach in our online academy, right?
Another one of my favorites.
You took that painting and you put this painting together and stored them for 6 months, you wouldn't be able to pull them apart. Did you know that?
They'd be stuck together.
Because for some reason, that's beyond my chemistry background, acrylic paints want to do this with other acrylic paints. They grab and hold. So when you've got on a regular canvas, you just have gesso. And gesso, there's so many goodness knows what gesso is because every manufacturer is different. Some sort of white substance that keeps the paint from sipping, because you're painting on canvas, it's just fabric, like cotton duck, right? It's fabric. So they throw some gesso on there, it could be anything. So if you get a layer of paint and dry it, what happens is then your paint wants to stick, this white wants to cling to that white, that
purple.
That purple. So this
They
is why
bind.
they bond. This is why underpaintings. This is why it's so much easier to, about 5 or 6 layers of paint, and it's so much easier to paint on your paintings too.
Now, if you've ever seen one of Ginger's backgrounds, you have the background we do that we use a lot in still lifes. I tried to do that directly on with leftover paint on a gessoed
Here's some example
background. And you can't do it.
You can't do it. You have to have a layer of something. You have to have a layer of something first, and then
it got better with each layer I put onto it.
Yeah, it gets better. So you have to have the layers, and that's the thing. We are one of the things. Why do you teach art? Because I was making a pretty good living as an artist, selling my paintings. I don't do that so much now. Just sell the lessons. But why do you? I have been a professional artist for over 50 years. That sounds scary, but it's true.
No, you're not that old.
Yeah, I am. And so the thing that comes up the most is the things that I know. When I first started with acrylics, they just had introduced them, and nobody knew anything about them. And so a lot of the things that I've developed over the years are really germane to me only. That you probably see some of them from my daughter because she grew up around me, but most people have no clue about how.
Yeah, but the two of you paint really different.
But we do paint different. Well, because this old saying, a prophet's never honored in his own hometown. Have you ever heard that?
Oh my goodness, no. That doesn't sound good.
I think that was a quote from Jesus in the Bible, by the way. It's a prophet's not honored in his own hometown. But there is, try to tell you
just can't win. You can't win for losing.
No, but that being said, she does know, and I know, but not a lot of other people know. And so I wanted, before I croaked, to be able to pass this on and these techniques on. I wanted a whole new generation of artists to keep going with what we've learned. That's why we're doing this. Besides, eating. Is that a good explanation?
That's all we do. Paint and eat.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to dry that real quick, okay? Well, John's...
Okay.
All right, it's going to look like clouds, doesn't it? Right.
Yeah, little puffy clouds. All right, well, she's off doing that. A couple of people have got some ideas here about putting keywords into the descriptions. That helps, but according to YouTube, that is so far down the list. The biggest thing that helps us if you share them, watch them, get other people to put them in playlists and share them. We just don't understand it. We feel we've got some great YouTube stuff, but a lot of people don't like our chit chat. We get time and time again that, John needs to shut up, which probably at times I do. But, we have the academy, which teaches, that's really our bread and butter. That's what we're trying to do, is make a living that way. We really want to teach everybody how to paint, and we think we've got a good product to do it. We're just trying to convince people to join us on YouTube to come to the Academy. Can you explain how to share a video? If you look at your screen, if you're on a computer, it'll say right underneath it.
Am I back on?
Yeah.
Okay, so while John's explaining how to share a video, I'm going to be adding the yellow, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You have a share button. You have your thumbs up, thumbs down, and then share. If you click on that, you can have it directly go to your Facebook, your Twitter, your Blogger, or just get the code itself and just share that. If you put in a playlist and then you create a playlist and share your playlist, that shares a lot of them all at once. And Siri, what are you doing?
So if you're really excited about a video, doesn't matter if it's mine or somebody else's, if you share it with your friends. Who sent me a video the other day I thought was so cool? Somebody sent me, it was something else that was about the news or something. They shared it with me. I appreciated it. If you like one of our videos, share it. We appreciate it very much. See, I'm just not using all the little spots for yellow, but I've got some. Do you guys see that?
How do you choose the color of your underpainting from Cynthia?
Well, normally, Cynthia, I try to do, like if I'm doing a dark background, I take a dark brown. If you'll look at every one of our videos on YouTube, you'll see we have an underpainting. In this case, it didn't really matter that much. Probably would there an ideal underpainting on this? I don't know. Maybe yellow would have been good on this one.
I would have gone lighter.
Even lighter, but we had this, so we used it, right? But that would be.
A lot of times, I don't think it really matters, but sometimes, like we did a gold background, and we still had some of the gold show through because it became part of the painting. So you want to think about what
Yes.
the background, what your underpainting is going to be, if it's going to become part of your painting, or if you need the color that you're putting on top to be brighter, you need a lighter background.
Yeah, and the other thing that comes up with that too, and I want to mention that too. Now we're going to have a little orange, kind of mostly. We're going to do some. Now we're in the warm colors, so we're going to do a little bit of the orange colors here.
My paint dries too fast. So what do?
Use more paint. You're not putting up piles of. See, look at the big piles of paint I'm putting on here. There's quite a little drop of paint. There's a Hershey's Kiss amount of paint. The other paint you might want to try is Golden Opens, because they really do not dry quickly at all. They're a different type of acrylic, and they do not dry, but they go very flat. They're very, very flat paint, which is the downside of that. The upside is that they dry quickly.
They don't dry quickly.
They don't dry quickly, but the downside is you can also mist them with a little water. I like these plastic coated disposable palettes because they don't absorb the water on them. They also have something called a Stay Wet palette you can try, which is good too. Okay, so you see how we're adding the colors. I'm going to rinse the brush now in between colors. I want some more of these really bright. Red
now,
is happier.
Besides rinsing, she also squeezes it out.
Yeah, so like for instance, I've got a red here, and red is a red will look much brighter over white than it does over other colors. So if I, where's my rag going? I guess I dropped it. I dropped the rag. Here, I'm going to take this one out.
Whoa.
I need a rag and I dropped that one, so here we go. All right. You have to get the water out of your brush because you don't want drips. All right, so let's put a little bit of white with this red now.
Are you going to be bouncing all over the place as usual?
Yeah, well, I've got to get some white over here to these reds, and so I want a little pink color. And I've got the red and some pink. So now we're going to start putting in, so it's almost a mauve color. Starting to put in some of the, red and yellow are easy to they're warm colors, so you can intermix them on a canvas, and while you're painting, you're not going to mess them up too much. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're just going to go orange.
They're just going to go orange. And it's like,
It's not like
I'm
compliments.
going to take some white over here and just the magenta. I'm going to start putting some of this magenta color on. But you see how much brighter it is. See, I mean, that's really bright, isn't it?
Have all the certificates gone out? We have one, and you're not one of them.
Well, anybody can get a certificate. They just have to, the certificate of achievement, you have to complete the requirements for the painting, right? And we're going to do more contests as we go. They're just really, what have you learned? And this is something we started in our academy where we gave you a challenge and said, look, here's a painting by this old dead artist. It's basically how you might do it. There's no tutorial with it. What have you learned? Because everything that's in that painting we have covered in other videos. And so the idea, what have you learned it? But what we did say was that you could go ahead and we would still do personal art coaching with it. So if you didn't get it, but if it's way above your skill level, our idea is to look some of these other videos first and try those. Make sure that you can paint, a blended vase, that kind of thing, before you start with those. All right, I forgot to put the purple out. I'm going to grab that.
I can't believe you've got the purple.
I did, but here it is.
Donna would like to know, does Ginger ever paint outside? Would she use the open paint for that?
Oh, no, because it doesn't dry at all. So, no. I don't really paint outside. I used to years ago, and I found that the humidity in Texas was just too much, or there's too much variable in the
weather conditions.
In the weather conditions. So I'm not a big plein air painter. I do not paint outside. I'm going to start into a little bit of the purples now, into some of this mauve color here. And again, I'm still in the.
How do you know if it's still good? Hot Pool 14 and what, the paint? I guess we were talking about paint before that.
What is still good? If your paint's still good?
I'm not sure.
Now, purple and yellow are complements, so if you're going to be bopping around with purple, you better stay away from the yellow. Or again, you'll ruin the yellow. So I'm going to do some darker purple up here, though. Just kind of darken some of this. A little bit up here like that. As long as I'm up here, I'm going to darken some of this. We're talking about it. This is, to me, this is a very interesting painting because it's so depends on what you've, which layers and the order that you put it down in. And I've got to put some more yellow out because we want, here, let's just do a row of yellow. There we go. Notice I actually use a little bit more paint than probably most of you. One of the things that what our friend Becky does is what she does with her, here's another coat of yellow on some of this. I'm going to come back over here and take a little bit of this Indian yellow too and make this a little brighter. There, you see how much brighter that is with the Indian yellow? And just wipe the brush off. Put a little in the center here like that. Start doing some accent colors. She'll take, when she has all the leftover paint, she'll mix it all together and put it in a jar, which makes kind of a gray color, and then she uses that as an underpainting, which is if just kind of a gray underpainting. So if you don't need a big underpainting, that works, right? Indian yellow and cad red medium, see what kind of orange we get, kind of red we get. That's a little bit translucent unless we're going over red, so I'm going to stay away from that. Still in our reds. I want a little bit more of this magenta color. All right, let's just try this here like that. I want this to be a bit brighter here and there. I'm going to make these a bit bigger there. Now, the thing about it is we can layer in the leaves around these flowers, so I'm not so worried about that. We can layer it in. As long as everything's dry, we can happily layer in stuff. Okay, so I think I'm keeping most of the pinks and stuff down here on the edge and the magenta colors. A few back in here, a few over in here. And again, we're doing all kind of the warm colors first.
Oh, here's a good question from Melissa. What criteria do you use to determine what level a lesson is? How many cookies a lesson is, or our new ratings of introductory, intermediate, proficient, advanced, ultimate?
Well, again, it's just, what might be a beginner lesson for one person might be an intermediate for somebody else. Depends. We just do the best we can from our personal art coaching, what we think people can reasonably follow along.
Some of them have been recategorized after we've gotten some personal art coaching.
Somebody said this was too hard. It wasn't, so we raised the level of the cookie. Or Jon misunderstood me, and he maybe made a one cookie. And
it should have been a 2.
And it should have been a 2 or so forth. And also his son helps us with the website, and I'm not sure Charlie always gets it right either. But, it's what he follows our directions, so it ultimately falls on us. All right, so there's kind of a basic, you can kind of see these are our warm colors, right? So we might kind of put a couple over here more. I want to keep most of the yellows over here. Again, yellow is one of those colors where you can you see how much darker it is over the purple. Do you see how you put this yellow over the purple, and you see how much darker it is? You guys can see that, right? And
yeah.
It's just...
Versus the white, yeah.
Yeah, see.
Well, that last one you just did, you could really tell there.
Yeah, you can really tell, which is why you should always paint, if you want a yellow, you should always paint it white first. And that's the same thing, if you're doing sunsets, you want to paint it white first. I had a student send me something in today in personal art coaching, and she was painting this very, very, very pale pink background for like sand dunes in Egypt from a photo. And I said, well, when were you going to, why are the sand dunes orange? And she said, well, I'm going to make them pale pink. But you would have done the pale pink right over the white to begin with. You wouldn't have put them over the orange. Just saying, right? I mean, there's a paint order for stuff for sure, right? For sure.
Oh, here's a question. I believe this is from Lynn that has a question about a downloadable lesson from our Ginger Cook On Demand website.
Yes.
I've got a tutorial. I have the horse. It was on my other hard drive. What should I do? I believe she had it on a computer that the hard drive died on, and she needs to get it back again. That will be in your Vimeo account. Because when you buy a downloadable lesson, we keep it on the Vimeo servers, and so you'll always have it no matter what happens to your computer, you'll always have a backup up in the cloud under your Vimeo account. So
Yeah,
it's still
that's
there.
so interesting too, and that's the other thing too about your personal. When we talk about personal art coaching, is that besides getting the mentorship, and the encouragement, the rah rah go team kind of thing, is you have a library in our academy to store your paintings. So you have a record of what you've done, plus the tips and stuff so you can go back and say, oh yeah, what did she tell me to do about this flower picture? You go back and you can watch that video again. You can go back and you can watch, you can see with the comments, you can see the before and after. You can go back and benefit from these suggestions. And so you can go back way back and say, this is what I painted last year, this is what I'm painting here, and this is what I'm learning. All right, so I want you to see that. Do you see how we're just a far cry from what we've got here?
A far cry.
And
You have no greens yet.
But we can't put greens in until we dry all this, right? That's the key. Don't get lazy, dry.
Are you suggesting that to Kim? Oh, sorry, we shouldn't mention names.
No. Kim, we've reformed Kim. It's all the others now.
I guess she's going to be drying again, so let's go ahead and mute her for a moment. So after the explanation, once canvas is gesso, then do underpainting with acrylic is good? Right, yes. You have a gessoed canvas, make sure that's dried, sanded and dried, as smooth as you want it, and then you put your underpainting on it. And anything else we are missing in here? Lynn, I hope I answered your question. Yeah, most of the canvases do nowadays come pre-gessoed, but it does not hurt to sand them, and some of them depend upon the grade of canvas you're getting, may need to be gessoed again, or if you want to apply
Another coat of paint.
Like we do a gold gesso once in a while, or some unusual.
All right, so I've cleaned the brush. I want to get all the colors out. Now we're going to go into greens, right? Because our red's dry, so we're going to take the yellow in a little phthalo green and just make it very bright. We want these really bright, okay? And we're going to come up here like this and just start putting in some of these bright, right over this, right? Start filling in some greens where these pots are, like that. Different, kind of varying the colors of it. So we're going to go, I'm just starting to put greens in. Makes a difference, doesn't it? We'll put some light green and some dark green in. Just go straight with the phthalo. Let's just come on up here with some dark greens.
And how are you making the dark green?
It's just phthalo green. If I wanted it darker, I could add some phthalo blue to that and make it even darker, like up in here if I wanted darker green, like that, really dark. Add the phthalo blue with it. I'm going to just start.
So you don't buy any greens, do you?
Well, the phthalo I did buy, John.
That's the only one you buy.
Yeah, and I use it just sparingly because most of the time, this painting required some really, really bright colors, which is why I'm using the phthalo green. Okay, so that, for me, this required some really, really bright.
And we use the phthalo green quite often in the wave and water, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, we do. So, and it's, you can mix right on see how you can just take some yellow right on that.
Speaking of our personal, it's a way to delete a ticket. Joyce used to contact us and tell me to delete one for you. I don't think you guys can delete them. But
but John just came out with a wonderful new video on how to send in more than one ticket. Again,
that's on your computer.
On your computer, using your computer. And then one of our friends said, yeah, but it isn't working on my iPad, so that's next, right?
That's next. I got to look at that.
Okay, so that's next. You see it's starting to flush out a little bit, yeah?
Flush out.
Let's just put the light on here. Incidentally, one of the things that I so enjoy about our Facebook club is the camaraderie. We get to know you guys, right? And you get to see what you're painting. And our moderators are so kind and wonderful to everybody, and they're just absolutely terrific. And today I got someone messaged me, and she said I could share her story. And this is personal to me because recently, before that last fall, I had changed doctors, and the nurse practitioner had ordered a bunch of blood tests, and she said, you absolutely have no vitamin B in your system at all. And so I started taking vitamin B pills. Well, this one particular Academy member who's been very, very ill for the last year, I mean, extremely ill to the point where dementia and everything else was from a lack of vitamin B. And they actually diagnosed that.
After a lot of...
Yeah, she was at 3 hospitals later and 16 doctors. They finally said, oh yeah, this is what's wrong with you. So sorry. Okay. This is why, I mean, she couldn't walk at this point. I mean, she got so sick. I mean, it was it was incredible. And it was this, frankly, she ended up with this particular illness that's normally found in India on people with very poor diets. So it's something, it's very rare in the United States, but that's what had happened. So I felt like, I had said, well, when the nurse had said, practitioner had said, well, by the way, your vitamin D's off. I'm going, yeah, okay, and I'll take some. But I hadn't really, I mean, I kind of took it seriously, but, I wasn't panicked or anything, right? But after listening to that, I just happened to get that message, and I was very, very thankful for it, because I had no idea that it could go so wrong so quickly. Does that make sense? And so anyway, I said I would pass it on. She said if what happened to her would help somebody else avoid that outcome, then she would be very happy too. Okay, so thus
So make sure you have your vitamin B.
Make sure that
B
you've
as in boy.
Well, the thing is that my doctor, I've been going to this one doctor for 3 years, he never tested for that.
No.
He never tested for what my vitamins were. Well, that's apparently, it didn't occur to him. And, for whatever. So anyway, I'm just sharing that with you guys, just sort of as a public service announcement. How's that? Because she shared it with me, and I thought it was just invaluable that we had that information. Come up here with a little dark blue. Green up in this corner.
You need both B6 and B12. We were low on B12.
Yeah, it was just very interesting to me because, I mean, I thought I was doing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I really did. I thought I was doing just fine. So let's take a little bit more of the light color with some white.
I think we need to have a drawing here for...
Yeah, can you do a drawing? Because I'm getting close to getting to the end of that, right?
Yeah, I've got to bring it up here. And so you've not entered a drawing. The first drawing would be for a membership to the 3-month membership to our beginneracrylicartist.com website. Not very many entries.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, lucky for the people that entered then.
Yeah.
Right? Good for them. Then they've entered and they've got
They got a good chance on it.
They've got a good chance. Now, isn't that interesting what the green did? Wasn't it adding a little bit of green around?
Well, it just brought it to life.
So now we're going to put some of the blue flowers in. Now I can get away with that. I could draw it. Let's see what we can do. Phthalo blue and white. Let's see if we can get away with putting those in here and still. Yeah, I think so. We can put some of these up here over the wet green. I think we're almost okay with that. This is a little bit darker. I'm going to put some of the darker blue flowers up here. Okay. Mostly the blue are over here. Let's just take some white in there.
Here's a comment from Joyce, which I never thought about. Something similar happened to my husband. Too much zinc caused zero copper in his system and caused neurological problems. Another public service announcement. Thank you, Joyce.
Well, it's a sad thing. We're all getting to the age where this stuff affects us, right? When you're 20, you just move on, right? I want this a little lighter.
And Judy would like to add, while we're talking about nutrition, please don't eat the paint.
Yeah, somebody said, it's acrylic paint poisonous. Well,
it's plastic.
It's plastic, you guys. So how good could that be for you?
I would recommend not eating it.
Yeah, okay, so will it kill you immediately? I don't know, but probably ingesting it. Now, don't you think this is interesting how this is all coming together
As a painting.
as a painting just by these layers of colors? I think I want it a little bit lighter. Here's a little bit of zinc white in that green color. I want it a little bit lighter up in here on the floor here. I want this floor to be a little bit lighter. Just kind of, you know how acrylics dry darker, so I want to lighten that floor up a bit. And
No, random. It was random.org. Yep. All right. See how many entries we've got.
okay, so John's going to do that.
Ah.
And
All right, here we
that
go.
was supposed to be green. Whoops. Green. I want green.
119.
Okay, so there's our. And then I want the
120.
I want the lines to want some lines to go kind of like this.
Make it like a wooden floor type.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just kind of, I want to suggest there might be some lines here.
131. All right, we'll go with that number for this first one. Now, if you're already an Academy member, we will give you a downloadable lesson of your choosing.
Okay, there's our floor. We'll get a little bit of the dark blue and put a little bit of a darker shadow under this pot and make this a little darker right there. A little more contrast so it shows up. A little more contrast back in here. Okay, so this shows up, and let's bring a little bit of this green back up in here too, like that.
Susan Darling is the winner of the 3-month Bob membership.
Oh, golly, that's terrific. Ha. Good for you. Awesome. All right, congratulations. What does she have to do, John? Are you going to write? You will email her, right, with the instructions?
I hope to email these people if I remember.
Okay.
If you haven't heard from us, please contact us on any of the websites, gingercooklive.gallery or Beginner Acrylic Artist. Go to Beginner Acrylic Artist. If you're a winner, go to Beginner Acrylic Artist and sign up for a free membership, and then email me, use to contact us, and say, I'm a winner. And make sure you do it that way.
Okay, so now what we're doing, you can see what I'm doing now is I'm going to go back over some of my reds and give them a second coat. Like here's some red paint, but the second coat will always be brighter.
It jazzes it up.
And the same with the CAD red light. It's just always a bit brighter if you do that. See, I have some reds up here. This is where you make sure your green is nice and dry before you go happily doing this, right? If your greens are not dry, the red will go muddy on you. If you dig in too deep, you can layer it on top if you're careful, but that's like Russian roulette. Somebody says, well, I'll be careful, but will you? Okay, so see how that just sort of disappeared in there. You can see how these colors are coming onto the painting, which is kind of neat. I want to just let that dry for a second. I want to show you something. John, one of the things we do every year, as everybody kind of knows, is we have a Mardi Gras theme. About this time of year, we do a Mardi Gras theme, and we have, this is just going to dry for a second. We have these different Mardi Gras masks. Last year, I believe this was on YouTube, we did this Mardi Gras mask, and that's still on YouTube. You haven't done that. And this is one we did in I believe in our Academy last year. Academy Mardi Gras mask. This is going to be, and I love this, I got to show you this. This is going to be our newest release for this week. This is called, in the Academy, called The White Queen. Isn't that cool? Don't you think that just goes great? Don't these all just sort of go, right? So we have that, and then last week we did, for our Mardi Gras theme, we did this in the Academy. the gold mask with the purple, all right? And all these are meant to go. And then we have another, this was like a one cookie, a very beginner mask lesson is in our academy. We also have and there's another couple others I'm not here to show you. You can glitz it up if you want. Let's see, did I have this turned up right? Yeah, you can, which way does that go? I guess it goes this way. You
Where's
can
your
glitz
signature?
You can glitz them up if you want with glitter and
Yeah, that
stuff.
one.
That's one option. And I believe this was another one we did on, I think that was YouTube. We did this on YouTube, another Mardi Gras mask from last year. So this is called, I'm going to encourage you to look for the White Queen.
And we got one more after that.
And we got another one after that, which I think is kind of neat, really. And, you know, get in time for the Mardi Gras festival that's coming up. People I say, well, what kind of things do you put in the academy? Man, we have everything. Do you guys remember that one of the very first videos we ever released was the dragon's eye?
Oh, I remember that.
And I took it down, and people were going, I wanted to do the dragon's eye. I never got to do the dragon's eye. You're so mean. I didn't get to do the dragon's eye. This was the original dragon's eye that we did. Whoops, let me turn it
I think it goes that way.
this
No.
way. This way.
That way.
This way. This was our original dragon's
Or
eye.
does it go that way?
Does it go this way? No, it goes this way. It goes this way. This is our dragon's eye, right? Here is our new dragon's eye.
2020 Dragon's
2020 dragon's eye. How cool is that?
Dragon Eye
gonna
2.0.
That's going to be the one cookie lesson that will be released in the following week. We'll be releasing that after the Mardi Gras mask, which I think is way cool, right?
Oh, so that's coming up after the mask?
Yeah, it's going to come out after the mask. We wanted something fun for people to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, we wanted to try to do things that you guys might see as fun for, you know, just, you know, I mean, it has to be serious. We wanted more whimsical, so we have some more whimsical stuff. That's whimsical. And we got some other things, too, some pretty neat things we're going to show. We've got some stuff to show you. All right, I think that's had a chance to just sort of dry without interrupting with the hairdryer. Be sure you're rinsing your brushes well in between colors of paint, okay? Can you see that? And I think this is another time where magenta is good. And the other color that's really good is this is called Luminous Rose.
Oh.
And this is from Holbein. If you want some color to pop,
You're
if
pulling
you,
out
if
the
you
big
just
guns
feel
now.
like you want something to pop, try a little bit of white and luminous rose. And look how bright that is. See? If you wanted a little bit brighter flower somewhere here, you wanted it to show up, be a little bit brighter in front. And can you mix it with magenta and white? Sure. You can kind of add a little bit. You can kind of mix them. Look at that. See, it's a little bit brighter. See, and then you can just kind of pop it up with just a little, just, you know, you don't want to overdo it, but you can also do, but I like the luminous rose a lot, and I like the magenta a lot. The other color you can use is magenta and ultramarine blue. Make an interesting purple. Really, really nice purple. Kind of a soft purple, so if you needed another couple of, if you felt your colors were getting a little bit, you needed to pop up a few colors there. That's really nice. Red and luminous rose make an interesting color. Kind of a you know, here's a highlight on that one. I think I'd rather put cad red medium though for there, because that's going to be brighter. Let's take a little bit of yellow in cad red medium. I want something brighter to accent these. There you go. See? See how that just pops it? And just, again, a couple of places I just wanted to pop some flowers, make them a little bit brighter. And how about some greens now? Let's do that. We're almost done with this. But you guys, was this fun? I mean, just very curious what people think about this, if they're having fun. This is Romantic Impressionism.
I think it's great.
I wanted these really bright in the front, these leaves. Really bright in the front. Just have these, just lots of yellow on there in the front. There we go. So that's the front of these. And I think we're just a little hot on the yellow flowers. So I'm going to push some of these yellow flowers back. Maybe do a little yellow oxide on some of them. Okay. Show a little green back. A little more blue. Let's put a little more blue here.
So you're trying to keep your focus to the foreground.
Yeah, I'm keeping the focus. I'm just kind of turning on and off the lights, so to speak, right? So I want to make sure that I've got these. Let's see, here's my white. I think I'm out of white. I've got the zinc white there, but that won't lighten anything. So let's put out, I need some uncontaminated white. Let's say, what kind of colors do you want? Uncontaminated white, please. There we go. There we go. See? There. Yeah, just bring that around just a little bit to the front. And then on this side, I want to take some dark purple and get some dark in here. Just a little more dark contrast in a few places. You go back and you just add dots of that. And
I would love a tutorial with some hot air balloons.
yeah, someone else asked for that too, and I thought that was a good thing to ask for.
It's great to ask for it.
Well, it was, right? I'd like to have this be very
perfect
straight
to
up and
ask for.
down, right? There you go. There you go. Let's get the dark lines under the bottom of these pots here. They kind of need that. It's dark. And let's put a little of this painting back in here like that. It kind of comes back there. Okay, and I think I want right up in here. I've got this flower. Where's my white and yellow? Let's make this a little bit bigger here. Make that one a little bit lighter here. And I'm going to go into white now. Just come back with a little bit of white in a couple places. You can always add white again, you know what I mean? When you're done, you can always add, kind of brighten something up with a little bit of white. And let's do this white. Just a dot here and there. Okay. Alright, so we've brightened up all that. We've got some pink up this way. A little bit of pink near you. Alright. A little bit of red up this way. A lot more red up here. And I'm being very careful because some of this green is very wet and it just will not make for good color contrast. So I would say,
a little muddy.
yeah, you just got to be kind of careful about that. And I want a little bit of light, just a little bit of reflected light on that pot right there. And I think I'm just going to do this a little bit right here. Like that. Just kind of put that little bit of light. I just felt that needed that right there. Kind of behind that pot so that little blue one stood out. And white and phthalo green. Right there. All right, there we go. So now let's just brush out some of the lines. So they're still there, but you don't see them that much. Well, didn't want to do that. Changing brushes, that one's dirty. There we go. Just the lines are there, but I'm just brushing over them just a little bit, kind of push them back. And wipe this off. That's too dark. There we go. You can go over this. It's okay. It's just you're not going to ruin it. Just know that you've got to then put the pot back on the side where the white is, because that's your light side of the pot. And look at that. See how this got all dark on me right there?
Why is that, Ginger?
Acrylics, you just think you've got it, and then they dry a little darker, and when you look again, it just sort of disappeared. And that's that. Let's try a little phthalo blue and white. Up here, let's see, that's this
Let's
white.
do ourselves another drawing.
Yeah, let's just, well, we could dry it again, but I think I'm going to call this finished for now. I think it's, I feel like we've done, for the most part, we've got it.
57.
And just a little bit of this blue over here, the dark blue. Okay, so it's got the dark on that side. And there you go, you guys. That's how you, oh, we didn't use the bright orange. I was going to do that too.
Yeah,
This
that
one.
funny orange, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to drop this on, barely touch it, kind of goop it and drop it.
All right, we have the name for the next 3-month membership to Academy. You needed to paint me a picture of a sheep so I can use it for the logo.
I guess so, huh?
Yep. Where's my...
So you don't use a lot of this. It's just over here in this one place. I've just dropped it in like little tiny bits of color that might be coming off these pots. Right there, like that. That's all I'm doing with it. And you guys, we're finished. Which I think is kind of neat, right? I absolutely think it's kind of neat. And, you know, we could... I think in this one, if you look at the two of them together, I think they're very close. I did a little more outlining of the pots on this one. I like it better without that. Of course, you could do that if you wanted. Did a little bit more of that.
I like the colors you chose in the second one better.
Well, you know, anytime you do something a second time, you're gonna improve on it. You know, sometimes you know, you're bound to. Yes, don't you think so?
Oh, absolutely.
I know what I want to do here is I want a little bit under these purple flowers right here. I want it a little bit dark, like a little shadow.
Yeah.
Like under here, like this little edge here.
Hey, we would like to thank, no, not thank, well, congratulate Joy. Joy, her name's already scrolled by, Joy something. Joy Brown, I think it was. Joy Brown, winner of a 3-month membership. Go to beginneracrylicartist.com, create your free membership account, then use to contact us and say, hey, I'm a winner.
There we go. Just go over this floor just a little bit more. Isn't that pretty? Don't you love these colors? I think that's just fun, right? And so again, where do you come? You know, this is what we call romantic impressionism. It's a very loose painting, and it's sort of fun and quick. But honestly, I think this would be gorgeous big if you did it big and you did some texture with the, you know, some mediums with the flowers and really got some texture out of there. Just
Yeah, and a bigger one?
A bigger one, had them sticking out. Used some gel mediums on your flowers and let it dry in between. Took a few days to do it. You'd really have a really spectacular painting large. I think so, anyway.
Now, I was going to ask something. What was I going to ask? It was important, too.
I bet it was.
Yeah. How many cookies is this?
Oh, I think this is like a 2 cookie, don't you think?
You think it's a 2?
You think it's a 1?
I would have rated it a 1.
It might be a
All
1.
right, let's ask the studio audience. Is this a 1 cookie introductory or a 2 cookie intermediate?
You're gonna ask, right?
What?
You're going to ask. There you go.
Now, hang in there. We're going to do what we call a 10-minute painting, which is usually longer than 10 minutes, but of some new paints that we have been asked to try.
Somebody asked us to try these Salvidor Paints. And if they're nice, you know what I mean? A lot of us have grandkids, and maybe you want to invite them to paint, and you know, you spend a lot of money on your acrylics, and maybe you're not that interested in sharing that, or maybe these would be just the paint that will replace some of those expensive ones. We don't know.
We won't know.
Let's find out.
We're going to try them now.
We're going to try them now. So
it gives us a half a second to flip it up.
Yeah, so guys, I hope you like this one.
Kathy Evans says it's a 3 cookie. I can't dab flowers.
Okay, well, you kind of saw how we did it with the brush, right? You saw how we did it, right? So now, let's just take a...
Well, I'm going to get you a little baby palette to use.
Yeah, do you want to get me a baby palette? Because I hate that we can paint with this.
Right,
so,
that's why I don't want you to do anything with that.
Yeah, we can paint with that.
So
There's some good paint left on that side. Let's, you and I, while he's looking for something for me to paint on, let's you and I open the box and see what we get. What do you say? So John just hates it when I open things wrong, but... There, okay, good.
Now, if you lift that up carefully, you'll find the other stuff that comes with the kit.
All right, so here's the paints, And then you get, now how much you get for how much money?
Under $20, you get all that.
You get all these funny little brushes.
You get all the brushes.
You get a little palette knife. Isn't that
cute?
cute?
Palette knife.
You get some sort of stay wet sponge. Wow. And you get this little palette. Okay. And then you get...
Which we won't use that palette.
Which we won't use that palette. And you get these brushes. So hurrah for us, you guys. Don't you think so? Hurrah. So let's... all right, so we've got some colors here. Did you open this already to look, Jon?
No. No, that's how it comes shipped in that way.
Okay.
No, nothing's been opened.
All right, so I didn't think so, but I had to ask. All right. All right, so I'm going to open the brushes.
These are the ones you get to choose from.
All right, we'll paint some. Don't you think it'll be fun? I mean, don't you kind of want to know?
I do.
Ooh, look, some of the pointy brushes have little plastic protectors on them. You got a little fan brush.
And
Now, you keep in mind, acrylics can be used like watercolor, or they can be used like, oil paints. And so sometimes a very soft brush will work very well with oil paints, as a watercolor technique, and maybe not work so well with if you're doing an oil painting technique. Just saying, right?
Okay.
But that's, all right, so we open that.
Well,
Let's, I don't know what we've got here, but let's,
where do you can get this at Amazon. We did add it to our store, but we might want to wait until we try them.
yeah, we put it in our store, but we didn't put it in the store if you want to try it. But, all right, but, for under $20, that's kind of a great deal. The brushes itself are kind of a great deal. So, attention.
It had a favorable review.
It says, attention, read first. Become a VIP customer. And then they just want you to join something. So
Well, you get 5% off if you join their little club.
Oh, if you join your club, you get 5% off?
Yep.
Oh, well, that's great, right? So, all right. So, let's, one of the first things I think is important is how strong is your titanium white? Because that's oh, no, this is good, Jon. We have to open all these. You got a little knife or something that you have to punch a hole in all these?
Apparently I have to come over here and supervise this.
You don't have to supervise. Just give me something sharp to poke a hole in. I'm certainly capable of opening these, but I need to poke holes in things.
Let me see what they are, please.
Yeah. So we have to poke holes in those, in the tops. Well, you do that with Matisse, and the reason that if things come from a long ways, acrylics are water-based paint, and when they dry out, you have no more paint, right? So I suppose that's kind of a shipping safety thing to have them stay that way. Well, let's look at our colors. You've got black, you've got some sort of burnt sienna, you've got sap green, yellow oxide, azo yellow, ultramarine it just says, and you've got carmine, which looks like a kind of a brown red. You've got a permanent blue violet, a yellow green, a light green, a brilliant blue. Got some other stuff here, so we're going to just try that. Where'd the little caps go? I'm going to put that out there. So here.
Where'd you put the cap?
Okay.
Let's not make a mess right off the bat.
Let's make a mess. Come on, we're filming. You can fix this later. Give me something to open these with.
That's what I'm doing. Just get the next one.
All right, so just...
We'll be a team.
We'll be a team and put these out. I don't know. We don't have to use all the colors, but here, put that out here.
Just use your normal palette. That's
Yeah,
what you want to do.
we're going to use our normal palette here. So we're going to do... We want some... let's see what their blues are. Let's see what their purple is.
Did you put the yellow out?
I give up, did I?
No, I don't... I see just the white.
Oh, I just put the cap back on. Okay, so... Oh, that's sort of a pale yellow,
What
I would
yellow
say.
is that?
This is called...
It's Naples yellow.
Naples yellow, so it's not bright enough. We need a cad yellow. They don't see a cad yellow, but it's all right.
What is
this?
This
is
is
primary
Naples red,
yellow.
so you don't
all
want
right.
the Naples red. Look at that red. That's pretty red.
We'll put it out there anyway. We don't know. That's Naples red?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's like a peach, like a skin color, isn't it?
It's pretty.
So, well, okay, so what's that? That's a...
Primary yellow.
Well, that should be like your yellow, your
You have an
normal yellow.
azo yellow down there at the end.
All right, well, here's a cap here. This is let's see what the azo lemon yellow. Let's see what you get with that too. Here you go. Open that.
Can I just put them there?
Yeah. Okay.
That's your permanent blue violet.
Okay. Then open that one. Blue violet. Now that I want to see what that is with white. Should we do that? Can they see the palette, Jon?
I would assume so.
So let's do a finger in that, and let's see. That's a. What did you say that was? Because that looks like ultramarine blue to me.
That's permanent blue violet.
Because that, again, that looks very much like ultramarine blue. Here's my finger. Doesn't that kind of look like that to you guys? I don't know.
Primary yellow.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's your CAD.
Okay, it's a CAD yellow, and this is brilliant blue. I'm wonderful how brilliant it is, but let's, did you open that one?
No.
All right, so then you've got, I'm not going to open the greens, you guys, but trust me, they have greens.
We make greens.
Let's see, but I am curious about that.
That's your Azo, look at that one.
Azo yellow.
Azo yellow lemon.
Yeah, so that's kind of
It's a fun color.
it's a fun color. Almost would be fun to see what these were on some of that, right, on the other painting, but
We're not doing mixed painting.
so here's the primary magenta. That's interesting. I wonder what that does. So we're having fun with all these things. This is a turquoise blue. Good, let's have that, because that'd be closer to your phthalo. And then this one would probably be a vermilion. That's got to be kind of a, well, see, you can't really tell from what they put on there. But yeah, that's interesting. Kind of a light blue color.
That's called brilliant blue.
Really blue. That looks like kind of a phthalo blue with some white in it. And so basically what they've done is that they've sort of taken you out of the deal for having to mix your own colors. They're just going to mix them for you, okay? Which is not a terrible thing, right?
And this is turquoise blue. Ooh, that's a pretty color.
Yeah, turquoise was, what does that look like with white? Let's see. There we go. That is actually probably more of your phthalo. That turquoise blue is more of your phthalo blue. So I hope you guys are having fun with it. Just kind of, it's like shopping, you know. I mean, you hate to, try stuff and then not here. Let's see what that burnt sienna is. Which one is that?
That is your primary magenta.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty. Let's put some white with that. We'll finger paint today. Oh yeah, so that's pretty. That's a nice magenta. Okay.
Ooh.
What? What's that one? Some Carmine. There was a TV show character named Carmine. All right, there it is with white.
At least it didn't get
It's
on
more
my
of a deep rose. Okay, Carmine's like a deep rose color. So we don't know. But as artists, come on, we can get behind this. I think that's enough of these. We can get an idea, can't we?
We have. Do you want these last two reds?
Yeah, get the last two reds. I don't know. And you give me a brown, right?
You didn't give me a brown.
I thought I gave you like a burnt sienna or something. Here's a brown.
You didn't give me one.
Oh, here's a dark green and a brown. I guess. Here, let's get these out. Here's a brown.
I have witnesses that sees I'm doing everything.
Here, get those.
A soap green.
Well, here's an emerald green too. So let's get those. You guys want to know,
You said
right?
greens. We weren't doing greens.
Well, I know, but then I saw those, and then I thought, well, what do they do, right? Okay, so what do you get? You've got some great angle. Look at that. Look at this angle brush. That's nice.
Really good angle brush?
You've got some angle brushes, which is on a bright brush there, like he's doing that. You've got these little tiny angle brushes with the long, and some pointy brushes. Ooh, this is an interesting brush. It's got, it's notched.
It's feathered.
No, it's really notched. So like almost, so. Well, we'll see listen, we'll do something fun, right?
That's a dark, the soap green is very dark.
Okay, so we're going to do something really fun. We'll just do a couple little flower pots here, kind of similar to what we were doing today, right? We'll do a couple of flower pots and
Sure
just see
hope
what
the
it
camera's
does.
set right, because nobody's over there running it. And there's the brown.
All right, so John's going to run back to the camera here. I'm just doing I'll do a couple flower pots. You guys like that, right? 3? Yeah?
A couple
Like
is 3.
yeah, okay.
The
And then I'm
Queen's
going to
colors.
start with this brush. I don't know what it is, but here it is. I'm going to wet it, wipe it off, and I'm going to take the brown color, and I'm going to paint it on here like that. Over this
Okay, hope
orange
nobody
canvas.
asked any questions while I was gone.
Okay, sorry about that. Now, I will say that it is fairly translucent, but let's just see. This brush is wet. All right, so put a little brown. Now, if I wanted it darker, if I wanted a darker brown, I could put a little bit of green with that brown and make it darker. Let's do that and see if I can make this pot darker. Now, did you see I put some of that emerald green with it, and then I made a very dark brown? You guys didn't know that, did you? You can. All right, so here it goes. And then let's take a little white with this last one and make a lighter pot right here. Kind of a light pot right there. Okay, so far so good.
That set in Canada is $53.
Really?
Yep. Is it a heavy body? I would not classify it as a heavy body.
No, it's a very soft body paint, but it's, you know what I mean, it's just,
That's almost like, are we looking through that one?
yeah, this is almost translucent here. So at this point, you know, you'd have to say, well, would you have to do some stuff? All right, so let's take some white and green.
It's called Salvidor Paint.
Put a little yellow with it, right? More yellow with it. There you go. Let's take some white and green. Let's do
Top does not have a poker top.
let's just do like that. So I did some white and green, a little yellow, and I'm just going to make it's like a green background here, right? Just because I kind of want to see what the colors are doing. All right. Well, I mean, we're looking, right? That's all we're doing is looking, right?
Yep.
We're going to say, okay, so what are the colors? What are my choices? What are the colors? Kind of doing something similar to what I did over what we just did. I'll do this quick. You guys, I hope you're interested in this. If you're bored, I'm sorry. I hope you stay with us. And you know, because I'm kind of curious to see what these do. And now that blue is very strong. That's a very, very strong blue. They blend nicely. They smudge nicely. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They smudge nicely. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to put something dark back up in here. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out.
Are the brushes soft?
The brush is fairly soft.
So, but in the paint, you know, kind of like a flow type paint. So.
And it's flowing a little bit, so it's smudging very nicely. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So let's just take some. The white is not as strong. Does that make sense? I'm just going to do this with the white. I'm just seeing what kind of effect I can get. You know, we did something like this earlier, didn't we? So if I can get a little bit of, what can I get? Can I get some sort of feel for this? Kind of what we were doing tonight, so you sort of can see what I'm doing, right? So we've got these flower pots, and I just sort of covered that. Now, so then the question comes up, maybe I wouldn't want that green, so we'll do blue, so maybe we'll make that, let's do this. All right, so we're going to do that, just blend all that out. It's still it's staying pretty wet. I will say this much, it's staying pretty wet, okay? So now I'm not drawing anything, I'm just sort of putting the colors on. So what I would want, they have a black, which is probably what they're using to darken the colors. Does that make sense? So if I took a little blue and brown, I could make a dark brown. Say here, I could say this is my darkest side. There's another layer of dark, a little bit of dark brown right here. And let's just try a little white here and lighten up this. I'm just very kind of curious about what we're doing here. Do you want to give this painting away to anybody, John?
Well, that was the idea.
All right, good. You should have told me that. I would have been more careful.
Were you not listening to me in the beginning of the show?
No.
Okay. Hey, honey, we're going to give away this painting you're painting tonight with the new paint.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can fix it.
Yeah, I can
This
fix
is
it.
all underpainting.
Yeah, no, at this point, you're right. This is all. I'm just trying to see. I'm just trying to
You
get a
just
sense of
want to know what this paint can do.
Yeah, I want to know what this paint can
right
do.
now, not painting with, but watching you, it looks like it's student grade paint.
It's so far so good. I'm going to put a little more white on. I think you'd want a much
But I
larger
mean, for what
tube
you're
of
getting
white.
for $20.
I think for $20 you're getting a good deal here, right? I would want something a little bit brighter than that. You know what
See,
I mean?
what I would add to that would probably be our white.
Yeah, you know, regular titanium white, right?
Yeah.
So you've got kind of some sort of orange color. Yeah. Yeah, you can always play with lighter colors, right? And let's just pull something lighter up here in the greens. All right, so we're going to play with that, right?
Hey, we'd like to thank Arthur commonly known as Art, for the donation that came in through PayPal. Thank you very much, Artie.
Hey, Art,
Couple
we
more
appreciate-
months, we'll see you, buddy.
Yeah,
Is it a couple more months?
Yeah,
No,
a couple
we got
more
March,
months,
April.
right?
Well, May, close.
Yeah, we're excited. We think that'll be really good, right?
We're excited.
I think that'll be fun. Just somebody asked me the other day, "What are you wearing for it? The wedding?" I have no idea. Probably not blue jeans and a t-shirt. How's that?
Oh,
But
drag.
on the other hand,
One of them might be wearing that.
yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, probably not. Then I don't know. So, it's just so much pressure, right? It's
There's
just
way too much pressure.
way too much pressure. Let's see, what can we do with this one here? Let's lighten that up. This pot up right there. So I'm getting some nice, good wet on wet action. Let's see how far we can go with this, right? This is kind of stuff. So let's see some green and blue. Let's just come on up here like this.
It would make a good travel set.
I think it would. You know, I do think it would. You know.
You would do little sketches and
I
stuff?
like all the brushes. I'm still using the same brush. That ought to tell you something, right? I'm still using the same
Is this
brush.
the angle? Are you using the angle?
No, I just used this little fat bright brush and just putting some yellow with it. And
I thought you
green
would have
and-
latched onto that angle right off the bat.
Well, I should have. I'm going to switch it in a minute. Thought I'd leave this orange background because I think it's kind of pretty. Right, and just make it a table back here or something, right? That's that orange background. So far, so good, yeah? Let's try some other brushes, you guys. I'm sorry, I just got so involved with that one. I didn't try any of the others. Let's see one of these angle brushes.
Arthur would like to know, does he need a tux? You'd be the only one in it.
You're the only one that would have one, Arthur, because we're keeping this. We're just not
Come
those
on,
kind
dude,
of.
you know us.
We're not those kind of people. You know, we got the captain. He's the only one that's going to be really dressed up. He'll have the uniform. He's got to be dressed up for all of us. We don't even get to have real flowers because it's because of the way
Because
they're doing the cruise.
we're day 4 into the cruise.
So that I've got to come up with some sort of crummy plastic flowers, silk flowers.
We're going to paint some.
I don't know. Just that's what what I'm talking about here. All right. So here. All right. We're just gonna. All right. That angle brush isn't bad. Let's see.
Well, I hit my new controller. I got to figure this out.
Let's see. Let's get some brighter yellows going here. So far, so good, yeah? All right, so that's fun. I like the little brushes, you guys. I really do.
Can you grab one of our brushes? Can you try it with a stiffer brush and see what it does?
Sure. All right.
Just out of curiosity.
A little bit finer point, yes?
All right, so that's your normal ruby satin.
Yeah, silver brush. But
Okay.
I'm surprised they don't have these patented. They're so good, right?
They may for all we know.
They're
That's
such
what
good
I was
brushes.
thinking. Art's saying a tux T-shirt. And I'm agreeing.
And just
At least for one night.
yeah, you know what I mean. Just
We can wear them to dinner. Formal night at dinner. Oh yeah, I like that idea.
yeah, we'll wear them to dinner. Yeah, formal night at dinner, we'll wear the tux t-shirts, something like that. Okay, so put a little
And she
shadow
said that
back
she
here.
wore flip-flops to her wedding and nobody could tell.
Well, yeah. See, and I'm a Crocs person. All right, so I think these are pretty nice. I gotta say, let me dry it so I can put the flowers on it. We can really test the colors. All right.
Now, are you happy with how the painting?
Yeah, I am.
I mean, looking for the money. I mean, for the money, I think that's a pretty good deal.
Oh, it is. It is. Let me dry it and see what they look like after they dry. You guys with me on that?
Yep,
Because it's
dry.
kind of nice, right?
Yeah, go for it. All right, while she's drying that, this is the picture we are going to give away. If you want this painting, enter now. You don't have to enter again. Your name's still in there. So just enter now, and one of you lucky viewers will win this marvelous painting. You can take it home. No, well, we'll send it home. Anywhere in the world. If you're if you're somewhere else in the universe, we can't get it to you. So you got to be on Earth. Planet Earth at the moment. So again, enter now if you like that particular painting. Oh, I have to push your button. You're back on.
See, that's kind of cute, and it's very bright. I mean, look
That
here.
is. That really bright. Now
I
that
just
seemed to
want-
brighten up.
It's very bright. Look at, see? I mean, can you see it with this?
Well, wait a second. Let me hold on.
Can you back up? Can you see it with
No,
the,
hold on. I gotta find my buttons. I got lots of buttons here.
Yeah, can you see how
Well,
you
that's
can...
not bad.
Yeah, it's nice and bright, right? I'm just saying, you know, they're nice and bright.
I think the only other thing I would do is I'd just grab a professional tube of the heavy body titanium.
Or even the soft body, you know. might
Even the
be good
soft
too.
body, yeah, if you want to keep it all soft.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
For instance, you know, like for instance, here's the white. For instance, here's one of their little pointy
Now,
brushes.
this is just white by itself, right?
White by itself, and I'm just going to tab it on here like this.
Let me zoom in with my other camera.
This is just white by itself. This is their...
Zoomy. Yeah, see, it's not really covering like a titanium. Well, see, we're a heavy body.
Yeah, though they probably think of themselves as a heavy body, but they're not really. See how the white just sort of is a little bit translucent like
Yeah.
that when I put it on there? Where if I were to get the white, so probably, I'd still say that I would want a tube of white with this.
I would.
You know, but I'm just dabbing and picking straight up.
Yeah. If you were actually brushing it, it would be very translucent.
I'm just going to dot on some little white dots here and see what kind of... Yeah, it's just, you know, so you can see.
Does it seem to be drying out on the palette at all?
No. So I'm just putting a few little drops of flowers here. Just wanted to see what it would do. Just pure test here, you guys. Like that. We're just
I'm
gonna...
not sure if we have any flow white or not.
I do have flow white. You want to see what flow white would look like?
Do you have it with you?
I do. Would you guys want to see what flow like?
I would like to see a comparison if it's not
Okay,
too much trouble.
you guys mind? I mean, you know, we're just
kind of shooting the...
You know, here, I shook that up. Here's the flow white. Now let me rinse the brush. I got their paint off.
Same brush, though.
Same brush.
Same area. 'Cause I'm zoomed in over there.
Okay, so let's just say...
Now this is Golden's Flow. Oh, look at that.
This is, their white's almost like a zinc in a sense.
Yeah,
So
that's
look at the
very solid.
difference.
So
See?
you're doing the same type of strokes.
Same stroke, see? Can you kind of see the difference?
Yeah.
Or you kind of can,
So
right?
I'd just get a tube, get a bottle of that with you, and that's a good traveling kit.
It is a good traveling kit, isn't it? I mean, I think
Grab
that's
some
kind of pretty.
6x8, you can put all in that little pack, and away you go.
And then let's see, let's take some of their blue. Let's take some turquoise blue. I like that color, and some white. And let's do a turquoise blue. I thought let's do a few little turquoise blue flowers.
Is the paint, do you think, is more of a satin finish versus the glossy that we're getting from the professional body?
Well, of course, it all dries flat. You know, until you varnish it, it all dries flat,
Yeah.
right? I just thought I'd put some of these blue flowers. I'm just trying their different blues. I don't know if there are such a thing as blue flowers, but we're putting them in there, right?
There's
I
just
gave
blue
it some
flowers.
blue flowers just because I like it next to the background. And then we'll just put some white in the blue to brighten them up. And just sort of dab some in here, but they're not very nice brushes. I thought the brushes were very nice.
The hairs don't seem to be falling out of them.
No, there's very nice brushes. And then let's try
You're almost getting a heavy body look out of it on that.
yeah,
group you
just
did.
by adding the other white, right?
Yeah.
Let's try the magenta, shall we? Here's I think we said it was right.
So you're using the fluid now.
Yeah, the fluid and the magenta.
Magenta, I think, is the middle one.
The middle one? Yeah, there's the magenta, right? Let's just grab some of that. Was it? What's this one? I think that was the magenta right there.
Okay.
The one thing about the fluid whites, you've got to
Shake it up.
shake it up. Here, so let's just do some of that. There's their magenta. That's a nice, reds are telling, right? So let's just say that there's some pink flowers right here.
Where are you going? Wait, you moved on me.
Sorry, I'm down here in the,
Got you now.
down here. I love making up flowers. It's so fun. Just
That looks like it's doing a good job, though.
Well, this is kind of nice. I'm getting this nice sort of swirly action
Yeah, that's what I'm
from
thinking.
these, and
You're getting your marbling effect that you get with your heavy bodies.
and that's kind of pretty coming down over the thing like that, right?
Yeah.
All right, very good. Like
Well,
that
I think
one.
that's kind of a keeper.
Yeah, I have to say I would travel with this set, and I love all the brushes. I'm sorry I keep using the same brushes, and I feel like I should demonstrate some of the others. Here's a really fine brush, like this one. Look at that. Look at that. That's a kind of a liner brush. Here's what you do with something like that. Now listen, all brushes come with a little starch. All brushes come with a little starch in them, so you have to rinse that out.
I believe it's called sizing.
Yeah, okay, sizing, starch, whatever, right? So this is dried out just a little bit, right? Now look.
Starch.
All right, so
So this is like a liner brush.
this is like a liner brush. So if you're saying that you wanted a...
Ooh, looks like you got a lot of water in that, little sweetie.
I did, it got a lot of water on it. Here we go, let's
That's
try it
cheating.
again. All right, but still...
Oh, look at that. Look at that stroke.
See?
Look at the point you get on those.
So that's very nice. Look at the little pink in that. Ooh, that's pretty. Let's do some pink and orange leaves. Let's do that. What color is this? What color is this? Let's just do those colors, flowers.
Yeah, I would use this particular paint set with 6x8s. I don't think I would tackle a big picture with it.
Now this brush is not designed to do these flowers, but you can see where I'm
No,
just putting
just,
some kind of
it's just
pink
flopping
ones
it.
in and
It's
just
mixing it too much.
yeah. Let's try some with this color right here. What's this color? Ooh, that's nice. That got nice and thick. Look at that. Mmm.
That's a nice
Ooh,
look.
that's a nice effect. Look at that. I'm just saying. Look at that. These are nice. I wasn't holding out any hopes for these. I got to be honest with you, right? Just yeah, we'll try them. The lady, she was nice, and we said we'd try them, so we had to. But those are kind of nice.
I'm kind of liking it.
Let me get out that yellow again, and maybe brighten those up in the center, or do something. Here's a little bit of yellow.
Now remember, if you want this painting,
You got it. We're going to give this away
we're going to give
tonight.
this one away. It'll take a few days to dry and varnish. We'll varnish it and mail it anywhere in the world. I kind of like that effect.
This is their
Is that
pure
the same
yellow.
brush again?
Yeah, that tiny little brush.
That seems kind of versatile. I think it's one of those you have to play with to see what all it can do
Yeah,
for
you'd
you.
have to see, with your handwriting what it did, right?
Yeah.
But you can see that that's a very, very bright yellow. I would say the one thing I wasn't as happy with was their white, but white's easy to replace, right?
It is. This is called Salvidor Paint.
Yeah.
It's listed on our Amazon store. If you go to gingercooklive.gallery/Amazon, it'll be in the paint supplies. Almost like a yellow baby's breath.
Almost like I know what I'm doing, isn't it?
You keep doing this, you could be an artist,
I'm telling you what, just almost like I know what I'm doing.
If you send your work
Well,
in for personal art coaching.
That's kind of nice, you guys. I mean, I think I've just now, of course, acrylics dry darker. So let me just put this in more. I want to do a little bit of, if I wanted to, kind of dry brush on a little bit something lighter right there. Let's see, what would that be? A little bit of yellow and burnt sienna. Let's see what we get. Let's see, we need a little highlight right here. Just right there on the pot. That worked, right? Can you see it? Maybe a little bit lighter, a little bit more yellow.
Yeah, I would say their white is more like a mixing white or a zinc white. I would definitely get a fluid or a flow of a professional white. Because look at the effect you can get with that white, with those colors. The colors seem rich enough, though, don't you think, Ginger?
Oh yeah, they're nice. I have to say they're nice. And I'm just putting a little white with that kind of lightening up. So I mean, remember, everything is about contrast, yes?
Yes and yes.
So everything is absolutely about contrast. So that's what you want to keep in mind here. And we didn't test all their nifty greens or anything.
Did you play with any of their greens? Oh yeah, must
Just
have
a
done
couple.
some.
Just a couple. We didn't test them, but.
No, you being a person who always makes your greens.
I just thought I would do something similar to what we did tonight, right? Similar idea, right? But a little tighter. Does that make sense? Not quite so loose with the flowers. To play fast and loose with them, right? This is the other white. This is the golden white right here. Just wanted a little bit of light right here.
Oh, that's the real fluid light, the real one.
That's just one that's brighter.
Where are they made? That's a good question.
I don't know. Let's see. Where's our box?
Can you see it?
Let's see. Where did the box go? You took the box.
I didn't take the box.
You did. All right. Because that's Salvidor. And apparently, if you they have a warranty for the products.
Made in China.
They're made in China, so I hope we can still get them. You can get some, kind of a deal if you join their club. They're always look the way to improve, and thanks for the support. Well, what I would prove with this kit was I would add 2 tubes of white or do a better heavy duty white with it, but you can get your 5% off coupon and so forth. Salvidor Premium Acrylic Paint. Well, I don't think they're lying about that, you guys. I think that's
It's a pretty darn nice paint.
I think that's pretty nice.
I mean, for the money, the brushes alone are worth that.
I mean, to me, that's nice. Let's see if we get a little...
It's a little blurry tonight? Don't think so. Check your resolution in the lower right corner.
There's a little bit of orange here like that, brighten that pot up. There, so you can kind of see those in the background. They do blend very nicely. They really do. So I think a lot of you guys would probably like these. I think they're nice.
And they're not drying out.
And of course, and look at all the brushes we had, and we didn't use them. This is nice. So maybe what you ought to do is get a set for yourself, and then one for the grandkids, and then for their brushes, put some tape on them or nail polish, so you know whose brushes are whose, right? So they had this angle brush. They had this fun little fan brush. I didn't use that. Are you curious?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so here's the
Because I know, is it soft?
Look what it just did. I wetted it.
Yeah.
And look
Well,
what
that's
the
what they're
fan
supposed
brush.
to do.
Yeah, but I've never seen one kind of do it that much. So what would we do here for fans? What would we do?
What are you thinking? Something on the back? Something?
Well, it's got to be some sort of a foliage thing. It's got to be something like right in here. I like this painting just the way it is.
I do too.
I don't
Grab
want to mess.
another. No, wait.
Where's another?
Do you have that white one you had earlier?
Let's just use the fan. Let's just look at the fan brush because I like
Yeah.
this painting. I think we're kind of done with that.
Yeah.
Let's see what the fan brush does. Yes and yes. All right. So here's some paint right here like that. Here's what the fan brush does. Well, it fans. Look at that, right? It's definitely a fan. It does a little fanny thing, right? Let's do the blue one.
Can you pull it down a little bit? See, can you make grass? Bluegrass? Oh, yeah, look at that. Well, that's not bad. What do you think?
Yeah, look at that, you guys. Even sound effects. You don't always get sound effects with your grass, but when I paint grass, you can have it. All right, so what did it do? I would say that it has to be fairly fluid when you do it. See, if you get too much water, it won't do it. But look at that, right? Look at that. Kind of, you have to twist it almost to get that effect. If you do it too wide, you won't get it. But look at that.
You got any yellow left? Well, it's still wet?
Well, I could get some yellow out. They gave us some. Let's just get, where did I put the yellow? Let's put a little bit yellow here, right? You guys are kind of curious, aren't you?
Oh, we want to see the notch brush next, too. That funny one that you said was notched?
Sure. I put the fan brush in the water and now I lost it.
Was
There
it
it
short
is.
handle?
No, it just disappeared. All right, here's the yellow, right? So you want to see what it looks like over this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, look at that. So you're mixing it right on there, the green?
If you dried it, it would be better.
No, I wanted to mix it into a green. I wanted the yellow, the green, and the blue. You did what I wanted. It may not be right, but it's what I wanted to see.
Okay.
And since they can't talk and you're stuck with me,
All right.
I think that's cool.
Here's some white. What does the white look like?
I think we need to do a close-up on that. Pop over this camera for a second. Look at that.
So you kind of put it and then spin it. Is the way I would use it if you wanted to do grass. You just kind of take it and spin it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really. I mean, it's kind of
That's
white.
almost like fireworks.
I was thinking the same thing. This is like fireworks. If we did red on top of that, which is, we could have fireworks. Well, we've got a little red left, right?
All right.
Look at that, you guys. All right, well, that's a nifty little fan brush, yeah?
All right, now grab the notch brush, and that'll be the last one. These people have got to get home to bed.
Oh, notch brush. Where did that go? I think I was using, oh, here, this is this one.
You haven't used it yet, have you?
No, here's this one. See, can you zoom in? I think it has these little notches on it.
Okay, wait. Oh, you already know. Before you paint, let me know where you're going to go so I can put my camera where you're going to...
Let's just try it right up here, okay?
Okay, hold on. Will you wait 1 second so I can get there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah?
proceed.
So right now it doesn't feel very notchy.
It's just a brush.
It's just a brush. So then maybe you have to wipe the paint off to get the notches. There, you can kind of, a little bit, do you see there? That I'm really not getting, it feels more like a bright brush. I think that it was, let's see.
I wonder if it's more if you did a dry brush effect with it.
Yeah, maybe more for fur or something. I think it's probably a fur brush. You know, a little tiny brush for fur, because it does get, you see at the end when you pick it up?
You get it, yeah, you get it when it's dried and when it's starting to dry out.
Yeah, see that?
So it's a dry brush.
Yeah, like that. See,
Okay.
so you just, there's...
That's quite a versatile set of brushes,
I mean,
though, for the money.
I'm telling you what, for you know, we didn't try them all, but there were a bunch. I mean, a bunch of
There's
brushes.
10 brushes, or there's 12
Yeah,
brushes.
so under $20, you guys. I mean, if you know, I think that's way cool. Let's just move this out of the way now,
Oh, let me back up some.
and then I'll sign this. Why don't you do the drawing for this?
Oh, yeah.
You know, so,
All right,
and
drawing time.
for this, I hope everybody entered. Hope you had fun entering.
Everybody entered. Everybody.
All right, and we're going to sign it with a yellow Posca pen. You have to really shake these up too. Do you know that, right?
I know that, but do our fans know that?
Yeah, really, but yeah, really shake them. I get a little lazy sometimes, and then test them on something. All right, I think I'll sign it right here,
Where?
right there.
Okay. We've got a lot of entries for this. People want this.
Okay, there's
191.
Cook right there. I wonder if I want to do this. I want to see what the Posca pen does.
Of course, it's probably not going to be much different than...
No, I just wanted to see. All right, you guys, that's pretty good. I would say that's kind of, I think that's pretty neat. I'm impressed. I'm impressed easily. We've tried all kinds of stuff. We don't even tell you about it because it's just whatever, right?
This one we did cold turkey. We just went for it.
We weren't sure what to expect, but I feel like we got it. So you're getting in the entries. I'm going to sign this one too, as long as we're signing things.
Now, if you are the winner of this,
Now,
please use
can you see the difference? Can you see the colors are?
Wait,
Look,
back up a little bit.
back up. Look at the colors on this. You look at the greens and the colors, and I would say they were comparable.
Yeah.
Don't you think so? You look at that and that. I mean, I'm sorry. I think they're comparable.
I think they got a winner on that.
Of course,
one.
you don't get a lot of paint in each tube. You know, we're talking about a tube this big. So probably pound for pound, they're probably about the same. But, you know, still, it's a great value. It would be nice if they, you know, made bigger sets, too. I don't know. Do they, John, or it's just
I didn't
this?
find any. I didn't see any there, no. All right, we have a winner. It happens to be a name that I cannot pronounce.
Spell it.
Winner of...
I don't like it signed right there.
But change your mind.
Yeah, I'm changing it. Gonna sign it with white over here. There we go. Just always something. Right? I didn't like that. Didn't like it saying. Let's sign it with white right here.
Where'd you go now?
Over here. Let's sign it over here with white. Who's the winner, John? They can't stand it. They're
Well,
wondering.
it's Yoshi. I think she comes to signs her stuff.
Is it Yoshi?
Yeah.
Oh, Yoshi, hi, from Israel. Congratulations. She's one of our Academy members.
Just one of the big long names.
Yeah. Yoshi, come on, you guys, how cool is that? All right, so we got that. And you had a chance to see how the bright pink dried. Can you see that on this one? And that was that luminescent pink from Holbein. So if you guys really like brighter flowers, you got to see this one right there. And I'm going to can you back up a little bit and I can show both of these
Side by
pictures?
side. Or top
Where should I put them? About like this? Or?
Go top and bottom.
Top and bottom, can you see? So I think you get the idea of how you might paint something like this, yes and yes?
Yeah, I get an idea.
And, you know, everybody's will be slightly different, but I hope you have fun painting it. And remember, if you know, Jon and I like to travel, and the inspiration for this painting
Came from the flower market.
came from Estonia, in this little tiny square right there of flowers.
The little corner is what we went for.
That little corner right there of this whole little picture, that was our inspiration. And here, that was the inspiration for this. So again, this will be in the in our traceable section on the beginneracrylicartist.com, and under the what's the tab?
She says it was worth staying up until 3:30 a.m.
What's it?
Apparently, 3:30 over in Israel.
What's it? Oh, I thought, gosh, I'm so glad.
That's my bedtime.
Wow, so that's great. Well, we're excited about this. We hope you guys had fun too. Again, share the videos, let the world know, and tell us what you thought about this paint and these paintings and what you'd like to see us paint next. We want to hear from you. Your comments are read and appreciated. And you're adored and loved. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Did you say that to me? I'm adored and loved.
Yes, dear.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Haha.
You're so sweet. All right.
Thanks, everybody, for the donations tonight. We really appreciate it.
It helps us keep going. We're going to do that one. Where's Sammy? Oh, do we have a Sammy exit?
I give up, do we?
I don't think we have. No, we don't have a Sammy exit.
We have no exit, right? We're just going to say goodbye. Say goodbye, Jon.
Goodbye, Jon.